Hello and welcome back to Kingdom Come Deliverance and part 8 of my playthrough. So I was going to go on a date with Teresa this episode, but that didn't happen because it only lasted about 10 minutes. And I meant to go back 2 more times, I think, so there's 3 dates. There's 3 places we can go on a walk to. So I'm thinking I'm just going to release that all in one big episode rather than in tiny sections or like in the middle of other episodes. So I've headed up to Ujits, I think is the name of the place, over there, to try and find the limping man. Which shouldn't be very difficult if he's got a limp, I'd have thought. So hopefully this isn't a tiny little quest as well. But either way, we're here. Let's see if we can't find him. Oh, there's some going on down there. I wonder what's happened, because that looks like a meeting. Oh, it is a meeting. It's okay then. Well, what's happened? Murder. There's blood on the door.
Move along, citizens. Move along. There's nothing to see here.
That's what you call nothing to see. I'd like to know what something to see looks like.
By the keys of St. Peter, this is all I need. We'll have to send word to Sir Hanush.
That might not be necessary.
Who are you?
I'm Henry of Skalitz, in the service of Hanush's Captain Bernard. I'm investigating the attack at Neuhof, and I think this could be related.
Well, I'm the bailiff of Auschwitz. And I say we don't want any of that kind of trouble around here. What makes you think this has anything to do with Neuhof?
One of the folk at the stud farm recognized someone from Auschwitz among the bandits.
Auschwitz?
We have no bandits or murderers around here.
Really? They say he had a limp?
Shit. Well, allow me to introduce you.
I thought his name was Lumpy Lubosh. Oh
Or
dear.
all that's left of him.
A murder mystery. Oh, not a murder mystery, that's pretty grim.
Sacre. Nothing's ever easy. I'll have to take a look around and ask a few more questions, if that's all right with you.
You can take this mess off my hands and welcome to it. As for what else there is to find out, I don't know. But look and ask all you like.
Right, well I think first thing first, we need to go and look at the crime scene. So there are any clues, like a horse pick stuck in him. Who was Lumpy Lubosh? Lumbosh? When was the body found?
When did you find the body? And did anyone see anything?
Just now. And nobody saw or heard anything. I don't know how they could gut him like that without someone hearing him scream.
Teach me how to read, that's off topic.
Who was Limpy Lubosh?
A poor crofter and a scoundrel. Can't say I'm too surprised what happened to him. He kept company with all sorts of vermin. He was always getting into some kind of trouble. Punch-ups in the tavern and what have you.
Why did he limp? That's a good question.
How come he limped?
He got that from some villainy or brawl a long time ago.
Oh. Do you know anything about suspicions?
Has he been up to anything suspicious lately?
I don't know. The last few days he didn't go anywhere. He was home the whole time. But he always kept everyone in the village at arm's length.
But he wasn't home, was he? He was at Neuhof. I hope he hasn't died because I didn't come here sooner.
Do you happen to know where he was on the night of the Neuhof raid?
I've no idea. He kept his distance from other folk, so you never knew if he was away or holed up at home.
Did he have any cronies?
Did he have any kith or kin in the village?
None. A loner he was. I don't know the last time I saw him with anyone.
Okay, thank you very much. Oh wait, no, I don't know how to read.
Another thing about Lubosh.
Nope. End. Well, let's talk to these people.
Good day to you. What do you need?
Interrogation about Lubosh.
I've come in the name of Sir Hanush of Lipa. I'm investigating the massacre in Neuhof, and now a murder here as well. Can I ask you a few questions?
I don't know nothing about it, but ask all you want.
The last time someone said they didn't know anything about something, they were the one guilty. Who was this Lubosh who was murdered?
That man Lubosh who was murdered. What was he like?
I didn't really know him. He kept to himself, even in the
Even
tavern.
at the tavern. Thank you.
Have you noticed anything suspicious recently?
That man behind me, I think he wants to talk to me.
He was in church yesterday. He was even talking to the priest and went to confession. I
dear.
was wondering what he was up to take to the faith all of a sudden. But I suppose no sin's too dark for God's mercy.
Gasp.
Do you know what Lubosh was doing the day Neuhof was raided?
I was coming from the tavern very late that night, and I caught a glimpse of someone entering the village. He looked like he was in a hurry. It was only a shadow against the sky, but after what happened, I wouldn't wonder.
Do you know anyone
Interesting.
Lubosh used to spend time with? Relatives or friends?
Not with anyone from the village. He used to sit in the tavern next to us sometimes, but he never said much.
Okie dokie.
That's all. Thank
Talk
you.
to this man behind me, because I think he wants to talk to me. Yes?
Good day to you. What do you need?
I've come in the name of Sir Hanush of Lipa. I'm investigating the massacre in Neuhof, and now a murder here as well. Can I ask you a few questions?
Of course. Ask away.
Oh, no, same topic.
That man Lubosh who was murdered, what was he like?
He was a drunk who was always looking for a fight. Nobody liked him much, but I wouldn't wish an end like that on any man.
Have you noticed anything suspicious recently?
Well, now I think of it, I hadn't seen him around for a while. No idea where he was skulking.
Do you know what Lubosh was
bandit
doing
camp.
the day Neuhof was raided?
Not a clue.
Do you know anyone Lubosh used to spend time with? Relatives or friends?
He was a loner. He didn't even have any mates in the tavern.
That's all.
Alright, well,
Thank you.
I think investigate the crime scene. And then talk to that priest before he disappears out of town. Yeah, I thought that man was half dressed. Close the door. Head.
Lord above, they did a hell of a job on him. Must have been agony. How come no one heard anything?
What's that say? Well, it's probably not English, so I'm not so...
An inscription in blood. It's a pity I don't know how to read. Looks like they wanted to give someone a warning. But who? And a bandit who knows how to write isn't something you see every day.
Zradzel. By the look of it.
What's this? Looks like someone's hit him very hard on the head. Could they have bludgeoned him to death and then gutted him? That would explain why he didn't scream.
Probably. Well, are there any clues like that? No. Maybe we should ask the guy outside whether he can read the evidence. Maybe we should ask the guy outside whether he can read the note. There's blood here. It looks like he got dragged in. Maybe. Inspect.
bed.
Oh. I noticed it was a bed I could sleep in it. Maybe there's something in here. Oh no. Look, let's talk to that guy and see whether he can read it. Oh, everyone's left. I was going to say, they better not still be just stood out there.
Good health to you.
Can you read? Oh. Well, I don't have time to go and learn to read right now. Close the doors just so he can't detect me as I try and unlock this door, this chest. Right, what is inside? Oh, nothing. Well, I was hoping there'd be some clues in there, but apparently not. Right, well, off to the priest it is. We'll go interrogate him. Or should we look around here first, actually, in case there is a clue? Maybe there's a trail of blood somewhere. For horse. Is that me? That must have been. There's blood here. I can't just walk away from the crime scene. You're meant to be guarding it. Maybe. No, I don't think so. Nope, we'll go find the priest. Will likely be in the church, which I think I saw on the hill. Or maybe it was the other hill. Oh, where on earth is this church? Oh, there it is. Are you fighting yourself? It's a Templar Knight. Though I think they're actually all been murdered by this point. Hello, Father Godwin. Can I ask you... Oh, you know how to... Yeah, that's more of an interesting question.
I see you know how to wield a sword, Father. I wouldn't have expected that from a man of the cloth.
With a stick. I practice with a stick. Reminder of my youth and days gone by, and it helps keep me in good form.
Okie dokie. Yeah.
Blessings of our good Lord be with you, Father. I'm here in the name of Sir Hanush of Lipa, investigating the massacre at Neuhof, which seems to be connected to a murder here. Can I ask you a few questions?
It seems Sir Hanush is employing children as investigators. But ask as you wish, boy. I hope this nasty business will be
Everyone
cleared
seems to
up
think we're a
quickly.
kid, but I'm pretty certain
Did
we're
you
like
know
20.
Lubosh? What was he like?
Bit of a lost soul. Simple, rough fellow, but at heart I don't think he was such a bad person.
Well, you obviously knew him. Did you notice
Did you notice anything suspicious recently?
My child, all sorts of suspicious things have been going on recently. People like Lubosh don't know what to do about it, and sometimes they do stupid things.
That's really not a lot of help to me, Father.
I'm sorry to hear that.
He's deliberately being indirect in his response.
Do you know what Lubosh was doing on the day Neuhof was raided?
Unfortunately, I do know. And I'd like to help you with your investigation, but I can't.
What?
I'm bound by certain
obviously.
vows that forbid
Yeah, I
me
knew
to
it.
tell you.
Vows more important than catching dangerous murderers?
There are laws of God above the laws of man, son. And one of those is the sanctity of the confessional.
Great. There has to be some exception.
Father, surely you can't be serious. There must be situations in which you can make an exception.
There are things that apply always, no matter what the circumstances, and this is one of them.
No. You can't hurt him now. You could be condemning innocent people to death. I'll get the confession out of you by force. Well, I don't want to fight him because he knows how to use a sword. Oh, there's that guy in the background. The bailiff. Well, we have high persuasion. Yeah, well, but maybe that'll work better.
For heaven's sake, Father, can you really look me in the eye and tell me that, when you know you may be condemning innocent people to death?
I can. Because if I broke that vow, the consequences would be much worse than if I didn't. Maybe not immediately, but one day. The mills of God grind slowly.
Oh, great.
Father, Lubosh was my only lead to the Neuhof raiders. Only he could tell me who was responsible for that massacre. If I don't find out who it was, it will probably happen again. Surely you wouldn't want that.
I wouldn't. But I can't betray the sanctity of the confessional. I'll tell you what. Give me some time and I'll try to think up some way of helping you. Suppose we talk it over in the evening. In the tavern. Over a cup of good wine. Maybe we'll come up with something.
All right.
Great.
Thank you, Father.
My character's basically teetotal in this. I don't think I've drank anything alcoholic. I don't think I've even drank a save potion yet. Right. Well, I'm not sure what I'm going to have to do now. I think I'll have to just wait. Maybe talk to the tavern keeper, actually. Where is the tavern? Is that it? Yes. Maybe he'll know something, or she'll know something. You there? Oh. What I wanted.
Good day to you.
Oh, wait, it's just the same options.
I've come in the name of Sir Hanush of Lipa. I'm investigating the massacre in Neuhof, and now a murder here as well. Can I ask you a few questions?
I don't know nothing about it, but ask all you want.
Well, you're the tavern. Oh, he actually has no unique
That's all.
dialogue. That's
Thank
a shame. I thought maybe he'd, like, know stuff about him. Oh, this is a baker, that's why. No, it isn't. It is a tavern. Back to his house then, I guess.
Be a bit more careful.
Back to the murder house it is then. Maybe there's a clue that I didn't find on my first visit. The body's gone. Oh my god! What the fuck? How did I know that was going to happen? That's not maybe that's meant. Maybe I'm not meant to come back here then. That is so weird. How did I know the body would disappear? Well, I actually thought he'd react to it, but he hasn't. I thought maybe the criminals would have come back and got rid of him or something, but no, by the look of it, I'm not meant to actually come back here, and he's been collected by the funeral parlour. Okay, well that happened. Right, to the tavern. Maybe we can find something out here. Unless there's two taverns. Are there two? Because that... No, that isn't tavern symbol. I don't know what that's meant to be, but... Oh, a scribe. Oh, he'll be able to read. No help here. He wouldn't even come and read the writing on the wall. Or more, I wouldn't even mention writing on the wall that could be read. Maybe he keeps a journal. Let's go. break into the church. I'm probably already going to hell. I might as well go there a legend. Nice church, but nothing in it. Let's wait around at the tavern then, I guess. Oh, there's no one for me to even play with. That's annoying. Let's talk to these women. They've hung around at the tavern all day. Oh, it's a maid. Maybe she'll know something.
I've come in the name of Sir Hanish of Leiper. I'm investigating the massacre in Neuhof, and now a murder here as well. Can I ask you a few questions?
I don't know how I can help you, but ask if you must.
Well, you work here. Surely you spoke to him at least once.
Who was this Lubosh who was murdered?
You could see at first glance he was no good. I kept well out of his way.
Have you noticed anything suspicious recently?
There wasn't sight or sound of him for a long time. And then yesterday, he turned up at the church and even talked to the parish priest. I never saw him do that before. Probably had a bad conscience.
Do you know what Lubosh was doing the day Neuhof was raided?
I don't think he was home. I didn't see him all day.
Do you know who Lubosh used to spend time with? Kin or friends?
As far as I know, he had nobody at all in this world.
That's all.
Right.
Thank you.
Well, apparently these maids know absolutely nothing, despite him supposedly being here all the time. She's not even a maid. Well, I'm just going to have to sit here and wait, aren't I? Okay, well, I only just realised my health was so low. But hopefully the priest is here now. Well, there's the bailiff, so... I'll talk to him.
Good day to you.
The Ushit's priest is no ordinary cleric.
The parish priest here in Ujits, he's a peculiar sort of cleric. I noticed he's quite handy with a sword.
He is indeed. He's as hard as nails. More than once he's intervened in the brawl in the tavern and sat everyone on their asses. He's not to be taken lightly.
I doubt he acquired those skills at the seminary.
You know how it goes. The nobles send their youngest sons to study for the priesthood. And our parish priest has blue blood in him. He probably learned to fight at home before he went to university. That's how it goes with those aristocrats. But I heard
What? Oh my
something
god, I only
happened
just
when
noticed
he
the man
roamed
next
the
to him.
world for a while. Don't know what he got up to though.
Right. Thank you. What on earth happened to you? Poor man. Well, the priest said he'd be here, so... Where?
One beer.
I am not a waiter. Oh, these people have names.
Good day to you. What do you need?
I've come in the name of Sir Hanish of Leiper. I'm investigating the massacre in Neuhof.
I basically know
Now
this
I'm
line
murdered
off by
here
heart
as well.
now.
Can I ask you a few questions?
I don't know nothing about it, but ask all you want.
Come on, you're a named character and your options are no
That's all.
different.
Thank you.
Priest isn't over there. I don't know where the priest is meant to be. He said he'd be here. Oh my god, there's an inside. Oh my... I've been wandering around outside for so long. And
Damn.
the priest has been sat inside the whole time. Alright. Who's that with her? Can't talk to her anyway.
I'm sorry I can't tell you
Oh
everything,
my god, she's a witch.
but maybe we can work something out. But first, I'd like to hear something about you, my son. With whom do I have the honor? Where are you from?
I'm from Skalitz.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Murdered.
What about your kin?
They're dead.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Here, we'll drink to them. It must have been terrible.
It was terrible. It seemed so pointless. We had no warning. They just appeared and began the slaughter. God knows why.
Pour me one.
They killed anyone who didn't make it to the shelter of the castle. The parents, the girl, even the Deutsch who was on Sigismund's side. I didn't make it to the castle. I wanted to try and help my parents, but there was nothing I could do. Then I fled to Talmberg with the Cumans on my heels. They almost killed me. They slaughtered people in the surrounding villages. There was a pile of bodies in front of the church in Rovna. Folk who tried to take refuge there, but they...
I've only got 2
My poor child. May God grant them eternal rest. And how did you come to get this assignment? I'd have expected Sir Hanish to send that old grouch, Bernard.
Well, I'm glad we both agree on what he is.
He did, but I found a witness and the trail led here to Ujit, so he sent me here to follow it up.
Ah, well, congratulations. It's nice to see someone using their head to find things out instead of torture. We'll have to drink to that. Now the most important
We're gonna end up getting drunk.
What actually happened at Noyo? The good folks hereabout are saying all kinds of terrible things, but I take most of it with a pinch of salt.
The rumours aren't exaggerated this time, unfortunately. The Neuhof stud farm was raided by bandits, but they didn't come to pillage or even take the horses. They only wanted to kill. They maimed the horses and slaughtered some people. I'm sure they would have killed more, but the bandits quarrelled among themselves and broke off the attack. And judging by what's left of our Lubosh, they're still settling accounts.
I see it's every bit as bad as people claimed. Dreadful. Well then, here's to those poor souls who had to die so pointlessly and so terribly.
I've told you all about me. Now it's your turn, Father. You don't look much like our parish priest at home.
No, he doesn't.
You noticed you're pretty handy with a sword. I wouldn't expect that of a man of the cloth.
You know what they say. The Lord moves in mysterious ways.
But this is a bit more mysterious than others.
Let's just say I haven't always been a priest. Fate led me to places where affairs were settled by force. These days, of course,
Holy
it's
Lands.
just a bit of exercise to keep me in shape.
The Teutonic Order. I don't know. Something like that.
Well, we've had an agreeable chat, but now let's get down to business. So, about this confessional seal. Do you really want more innocent people to die?
Henry, that's not how it works. There are matters in which you can't make exceptions because if you do it once, you'll forever be tempted to do it again. If people stop believing in the church because their confessional secrets are betrayed, they won't trust anyone, and that's worse than even the most hideous crime.
He is making excuses.
You're just making excuses. The people who say the church is corrupt are right. You don't care about anyone, only your own comfort.
I'm sorry you see it that way. Really sorry. You've no idea how wrong you are.
I always wondered about the things a priest tells his congregation.
Tankard of ale for me.
Where on earth do you get the ideas for your sermons?
Well, Ujits isn't Prague. It's not enough to instruct.
That changed quick.
They have to be entertained, too. If I only read from the Bible, I'd soon be preaching to an empty church.
Our priest wasn't exactly a bard. So what do you preach to your flock about?
It has to be something topical. Condemning vices. And, of course, describing them in detail. The tongue-lashing about the 2 popes goes down well these days. And stories from real life, with a nice moral to them, are popular as well.
Wouldn't this be a nice
if they're
moral?
about fornication and similar scandalous vices.
Can you give me an example?
Well, recently a priest by the name of Jan Hus started preaching in Prague, in the Czech language, and the people liked it.
Teresa
I
mentioned
hear he
him.
always has a full house. A journeyman who heard him told me what Hus is preaching, and I like the sound of it. I'm thinking about putting it in my own repertoire.
What's so amazing about it?
The preaching of Master Jan Hus about Mother Church. The lamentable well in which the church is drowning has turned to poison. And nearly the whole of Christendom is contaminated. Just like a flock of hungry ravens, they settled on this land to devour every grain of gold and silver. They know no mercy. Their hearts are corrupted by longing for wealth, and they shamelessly profit from everything. You want to baptize a child? Pay. You want to steal and murder? Pay and you will have absolution. What if the devil himself were to pay? Would he ascend to heaven too? With such money gained from the poor, they buy beautiful horses to ride and needless servants to pamper them. They gamble at dice and dress their whores in expensive furs, while Jesus Christ walked barefoot and had no place to lay his head. Look to your consciences, you robbers of the poor, for you are seen by God and his people too. Amen.
Well, this Jan Hus character is quite a rebel.
Oh, the congregation will love it.
I don't doubt it.
Let's drink to that.
Funny. That last bit reminds me of someone.
Who?
What do you mean? My situation's completely different. Huth preaches against the prelates and the clerics who are robbing the poor. Look at me. I don't have a pot to piss in. I'm no better off than the folk I preach to. I'm one with them in poverty and suffering and everything that troubles them. I drink with them and curse those stuffed habits in Sasau Monastery.
Is this about, like, Protestantism and Catholicism by the sound of it? But I don't think Protestantism's a thing yet. I don't think Martin Luther has been a thing yet.
Don't you think it's a bit odd when someone boozes and lives in sin with a woman and then criticises the Pope for debauchery?
No, I don't.
I'll bring it right away.
What do you think of this Jan Hus?
This is totally off
Certainly
topic.
a wise man. A little overzealous for my taste. If he got out of Prague and came here for a look, I'm sure he'd stop condemning drinking and lying with women.
Where can I find out more about his teachings?
You like it? I copied down some of his sermons. If you're interested, you can read them at my presbytery.
I can't read. I don't much want to either, but I think I'm going to get forced to at some point.
What do the common folk think of it?
They like it. They're happy to hear someone say what they think themselves, but are afraid to say aloud. Things that make them angry. And they're calling for change. In a few years, it'll have grown beyond control. You mark my words, the people will rise up, and the church will be shaken to its very foundation.
Ooh, this is
Yeah,
Protestantism.
unless they burn him at the stake first.
Nonsense. They can't burn a master of the most respected university in Europe.
They burnt all the Templars.
Thanks for the
They'd
sermon,
make
but
an
I think
exception,
I've
I'm
been
pretty
morally
sure.
uplifted enough. Oh, it's getting quite late. What are your plans, Father?
What do you suppose? We have a drink, of
Yeah,
course.
I'm totally drunk. Yeah, well,
That sounds like a good plan.
I knew you wouldn't let me down.
he'll have his way with me in a bit, I can tell. But we did level up drinking. There's that witch, she's back again.
To nie ustoi żadnej chlap. Na kraj panu desnej smutek, do dnie loi rano utek, niech ich małżeński majstra, do wczera żylne staje prak, už sej bojí svatý muži, nechtěl bych bejbě jich kůži, nám je to jedno a tak si dáme jedno a požadem si umí jako poslední.
We're getting a bit carried away.
Ano ráda slávy a pak vypal sumy a posaď se mi sem, tak posaď se sem a vypal je ven.
You better not be robbing me of all my money. This is meant to be a murder investigation. But at least we're having fun for once. We haven't had
Enough
fun.
of this.
Oh shit.
Bailiff, come on over here, sit down and have a drink with us.
Don't vex me again, Father. It's 3 hours past dusk, and curfew is long gone.
So what?
So, I'll have you all whipped and put in the stocks, and I'll write a letter to the bishop about you, priest.
Well, nothing to worry about then. Everyone knows the only one around here who can write is me.
Enough! Men, throw them out.
Oh.
Well, at least we bonded with the priest though. So, maybe he'll tell us.
You looking for a fight? Henry, back me up.
Oh shit. But I'm drunk. I've never drank alcohol before in this game. Oh well, here we are in a fight. Who am I fighting with? Oh, no, shoot. Oh no. The church bells like we're figuring in war.
I'm over here.
I know, I can see you. Not that drunk. Just letting that woman get away. She's one of the instigators. By the sound of it, he's not doing too good behind me. But apparently he's the best fighter in the village. And that guy's still playing bloody dice. I've also lost control of my head, apparently. I'm gonna punch an innocent person in a second.
Looks like it's going to be a good year for the apples. I reckon we're in for a
That's off
decent
topic.
harvest.
I think I passed out. Climb the bell tower.
So, my dear, wouldn't you like to have a little ring on the bell? No sooner said than done.
We're gonna fall to our
I'd
death.
love to. And Henry too, I'm sure. Right, Henry?
Definitely.
Stop that nonsense, Godwin. Are you out of your mind? What will people say?
They can say what they like. What do I care? What do they do to me? Watch the step, my dear.
Oh shit, he's gonna fall to his
you
death.
don't hurt yourself.
Godwin, you're a buffoon.
But I'm not gonna be in there. One
Here
of us is
we
gonna
are.
die.
Look at this beauty.
Oh. We can't do this, can we?
Who says? Get ringing, wench.
What the fuck?
This is wonderful.
That was that really dirty man from earlier.
Ah, bloody oath. And now, my dears, comes
He's
the
looking forward to his death as he out the window.
climax of the evening.
Oh no, he can't. Good. Two men and two women. I knew it.
Come here. Oh.
Oh my.
The priest has mounted up. What do you say, Henry? Shall we take a little ride of our own?
Probably, but I'm not sure what I'm gonna do about this on YouTube. Well, I'm not sure how YouTube is gonna see that. Now where the fuck are we? They weren't sheep, were they? Those better have been women, father. Who's ringing the bell? They better have been women.
Well, I have to say that was a fine evening.
Right. Well, that all happened. Now we're here. What the fuck?
Godwin, you beast! Get up!
How is she
You
not
hear
drunk?
me? Wake up, you drunkards!
We better not have imagined the women being drunk.
Where the... Oh, what the... Oh, who the hell are you? Oh, Henry. My great friend, Henry. Didn't we have a wonderful time?
Well, you certainly did, you old lecher. Now you better pull yourself together quick. You haven't much time. There's some water and something to eat on the table there, but if I were you, I would move my hairy arse before my flock eats me alive.
Well, they're going to be very pissed off with him.
On in my head. Oh, my guts. Oh, my poor suffering stomach. Oh. What was that woman on about?
You're meant to be in church, I think.
Before my flock eats me alive.
It's Sunday.
What have I forgotten?
Where the fuck am I?
What the fuck was it? Mass! Oh shit, I have to say mass. I gotta say mass. You have to help me.
What?
How? You're the priest.
I can't do it in this state. Maybe the liturgy. But I have to give a sermon as well. Oh, this is a disaster.
Oh, no.
They're gonna excommunicate me.
I'd like to help you, but...
You can. You can do the sermon for me.
What? So, first I investigate a murder no one wants investigated. Then I drunkenly keep the whole town up all night. And now you want me to preach at them from the pulpit? Do you want them to burn us at the stake?
No.
Apparently he does.
Suppose that Sir Ratzig's protege. You just came from studying in Prague. And you want to share the words of Master Jan Hus, who you recently heard preaching there.
Oh shit, I can't remember that story.
Henry, look.
I kind of
What
backed
I
out.
remember, we might have overdone it a bit last night. And if the bailiff or someone else complains about me, the bishop's gonna have my guts for garters. So I'd appreciate it. Stop gaping at me like a stuffed squirrel and start helping.
You're mad. You're stark raving mad.
I'm not. It's a perfect plan. It's flawless. Oh. How about this? If you help me with this, I'll tell you who Lubosh's cronies are.
He's gonna break the law. Well, the church law. Well, I don't know. I completely blanked out at all the sermon and whatnot. I find it very boring. I can't remember what it was about, actually. Nope. Can't remember it at all. Oh well. I'll never get away with it. Alright, I can go into the results. Yeah.
So all at once the confessional seal isn't so sacred?
Don't mock me. I won't give you a second chance.
Right, we'll go do it.
Well, alright.
That woman, the
I
witch
can't make
in the
any
corner
promises
who
about
teleports
what
out
will
and then
happen.
comes back.
No, neither can I.
What do you want me to do exactly?
I'll go and start the liturgy. Then I'll introduce you. You give the sermon I told you yesterday in the tavern, and that's that.
Shit.
No need to drag it out. If it turns out well, I'll tell you what I know about Lubos.
Ah,
Christ almighty. Fine then. We have a deal.
Wonderful. Let's get to it then.
I can't even remember what it was. I actually can't remember what it was about. Something about confessions and corruption. Is that his wife then? Oh no, a concubine. That makes sense. No one mentioned her being a witch or anything. Let's go. I just need to check if I'm actually wearing clothes because... oh fuck. I'm not sure I'm wearing clothes. Oh, now we can go and see Teresa. Oh shit. Oh my god, we're not in clothes.
never show up.
Oh no!
Look at him. He can hardly walk after
Can the world just swallow me?
You were with them, you beast.
That's true.
Look at him. Mother of God, any minute now he'll throw up.
Oh well, I look like I'm in priestly robes or something.
Yes, I couldn't sleep a wink last night with all that clamor.
It was fun though, wasn't it?
In nomine Patris, et
I don't know
Filii,
Latin.
et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Accepit panem in sanctas at venerabiles a manus suas.
Oh no.
Hac facite in meam commemorationem. Brothers and sisters,
Well, everyone
you
knows
may
anyway.
have had the honor of meeting Henry from Skalitz, who is here at the behest of Sir Hanush to investigate that heinous crime at Neuhof. You might not know that Henry recently visited Prague, where, by the grace of God, was able to hear Master Jan Hus from the esteemed Charles University preaching. I've managed to persuade Henry to stand here today in my stead and tell us what he heard. Because, as you all probably know, Jan Hus is a very popular preacher in Prague. So Henry, you may begin.
I'm a terrible public speaker.
Curious which one of them would puke first.
Me, probably.
I wonder what Teresa's doing now.
Don't say that.
I could stop by and see her
That's not
again.
even relevant.
I enjoyed it last time.
Start with a lengthy sermon.
Brothers and sisters, let me get straight to the point. I'd like to talk about the church and how corrupt it is.
Boy has a cheek.
One should not believe in the church, because the church is not God.
Oh no, what have I done?
God is above all things, and the church is but a means to salvation, which the prelates do not care to hear.
He's right.
Well, I have better persuasion.
It is
than
the
anything,
corruption of God's pastors here on earth that has brought misfortune on our heads. Plague, enemies, injustice, hunger and chaos, failed harvests, fires, floods and other catastrophes. And it is all due to the corrupt servants of God who do not practice what they preach. They think sins can be washed away by money, and they sell indulgences, and that's bad. Because sins cannot be redeemed with silver.
Prague didn't do much for his confidence.
No, it didn't. All human sin.
It is the custom of the gluttonous prelates and monks to preach against sin. But what do they know of us ordinary folk? Let us remember the marriage at Cana, where our Lord Jesus Christ himself feasted with the other guests and drank his fill. And when the wine was gone, he performed a miracle and created more. He, whose companions were poor travellers, simple
I don't
folk,
get how that's
prostitutes
relevant.
and troublemakers, performed a miracle so the feast could continue.
Now that's the kind of sermon I like to hear.
No, brothers and sisters. Jesus did not condemn alcohol. Drink to lighten the cross you bear in this vale of tears, but not with such abandon that you cannot keep holy the Sabbath. For there should be moderation in all things, and it is not drinking itself that is sinful, but intemperance and beastly indulgence.
He's right.
Well, that clears myself for what happened yesterday, I suppose. Modesty.
Enough about sin, which the prelates are so fond of preaching about. and whose absolution they promise if you only pay enough coin to Mother Church. Look at them.
No, I failed again.
They booze
It's 'cause
like
I'm not wearing
hypocrites
clothes.
and buy expensive jewels. They servants of God, and that is not right because Christ preached poverty, and only poverty and temperance are true virtues.
And it was almost getting interesting.
It was, wasn't it? But then I happened.
I say to you, in the words of Jan Hus, he who knows much, let him speak much. He who knows little, let him speak little. Let each speak as much as he knows, and he who knows nothing, let him at least teach his neighbour one virtuous deed by setting him good example and refraining from playing dice and from fornication.
Oh, no.
And that applies both to priests and to you, brothers and sisters.
That's his conclusion?
Yes, that is apparently
That is
my
all
conclusion.
I heard in Prague. Amen.
Oh no. Oh no. I am shook. I am shooketh. Ave Maria. They seem to hate me. I'm just smiling.
The lad spoke well, considering what a soak he is.
He's right, that Hus.
The young man shouldn't drink so much, but the Lord's given him a
I'm
silver
glad he
tongue.
came here. I don't
Yeah,
suppose
right.
I'll ever get to Prague, and he told it nicely.
That probably happens at the end of all of them, I imagine, but at least it went well.
Well, well, my boy, you have talent, and I can't deny it. And you pulled a thorn from my side. I almost didn't make it.
Yeah, I noticed. And I wasn't the only one.
Oh, what's to be done? I'll make it up somehow.
So, about our bargain.
Although it's a sin.
So's gluttony. And fornication.
God does forgive a penitent.
So, what did Limpy Lubos tell you? Was he at Neuhof that day? Who was with him? And where are they now?
Now slow down. I'm sorry, but he didn't tell me that much.
Don't let me down after all I've been through.
Yeah, don't, you little shit.
For you?
Well, now Lubos came to me shortly after it happened. His conscience was gnawing at him. And I must say, in the end, he turned out to be a better man than he looked. He said they'd been hired through some crony of theirs. And at first they were just to steal some horses. But then it all turned sour and people started getting killed. And neither he nor his cronies wanted anything to do with that. So they fell out from the gang and fled.
Fell out? Yeah, there was a body found in the woods by Neuhof.
That would explain something. Lubos kept jabbering that he wasn't a murderer, that he didn't want to do it.
So I know that Lubos killed the murderer and he's dead too. The trouble is, I need to find the ones who are still alive. I need names and places. Did he mention any of the others?
Only nicknames. Talked about some fella called Riki from Ledechko, Pius, Timmy.
Pius. That lot are about as pious as I am ordained.
Nonsense. You would make an excellent priest.
Yet, I'd pass, thank you very much.
Anyhow, with your skills, you ought to be able to
That's more
sniff out the
foreshadowing,
smoky from
probably.
Ledechko, right?
Well, we'll have to now. There's not much else to go on. Let's hope he's not hanging from the wall too.
Indeed. And I'd hate to be excommunicated for nothing. Anyhow, good luck. You watch out for yourself. These people clearly mean business. And I'd like to raise a tankard with you again sometime.
Yeah, I'll try. Although I'm not sure I'd survive another night of your debauchery.
And if anyone should ask, you heard nothing from me. I'll deny everything.
I don't doubt it.
Okie dokie. Well, I think that is the end of the episode. That was certainly an interesting mission. Very interesting mission. Yeah, so that's the end of the quest. So it'll be the end of this episode. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time.